evening. Welcome to Prime TV News. I'm Malshani Gamage. A quick look at your headlines today. President seeks Pakistan's assistance to suppress the drug menace and Islamist extremism. Prime Minister tells officials to grant immediate relief to disaster victims. Sri Lanka informs the Swiss ambassador that the statement of the embassy employee is vital. Ordinary level examination begins. And in news overseas, political leaders and climate diplomats are to meet in Madrid. And now the news in detail. Pakistani Foreign Minister Mahmood Qureshi met President Gotabaya Rajapaksa today. Their meeting took place at the President's office. Expressing his greetings and that of his government to the President, the Foreign Minister announced Pakistan's intention to strengthen bilateral relations with respect to economic development, trade, security cooperation and regional cooperation between the two countries. The Pakistani Foreign Minister said that his government was willing to jointly work with Sri Lanka to develop the Buddhist heritage and safeguard it. He invited the President to undertake a visit to Pakistan. Expressing his views, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said it is important to develop trade and investment rather than looking for financial assistance. The President also expressed views with respect to the export of betel to Pakistan. Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that he expected the support of the Pakistani government to contain the drugs racket as well as on the battle against Islam extremism. Pakistani Foreign Ministry Director General Dr. Mohammad Faisal and Pakistani Acting High Commissioner in Sri Lanka Tanveer Ahmad joined in the discussion. Pakistan's Foreign Minister Mahmood Qureshi met his Sri Lankan counterpart Dinesh Gunawardena and engaged in talks. The meeting between the two foreign ministers took place at the Foreign Ministry. Foreign Secretary Ravinath Arya-Singhe joined them in this discussion. David McKinnon, High Commissioner of Canada to Sri Lanka, met President Gotabaya Rajapaksa today. Their meeting took place at the President's office. The Canadian High Commissioner, in a cordial discussion with the President, extended his greetings to the President on behalf of the Canadian government. Meanwhile, Wu Jianghao, who is also a special representative of the State of China and Director General of the Asian region of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China, called on President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Wu Jianghao was also a former Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has instructed the officials to implement a special program to evacuate people from the areas affected by the inclement weather. A discussion was held between the Premier and the officials. The people from 9 districts have been affected by the extreme weather. Discussions were held regarding the management of displaced persons and taking adequate precautions to prevent such disaster in the future. The Prime Minister instructed the officials to provide cooked meals and sanitation to the displaced persons without delay. The victims will also be handed over dry rations. The Prime Minister instructed the officials to pay special attention to the victimized children. Ministers, MPs and the commanders of the Tri-Forces and the IGP were present at the discussion. The Department of Meteorology has said that a slight improvement in the adverse weather situation in many parts of the island can be expected today. However, the Met Department claimed that there could be a change in this situation in the future. Director General of the Meteorology Department, Atula Karunanayake, said the weather situation is now improving. However, the northern, eastern and Uva provinces can expect showers or thunder showers at any time of the day. He said that Jaffna, Kilinochchi, Mullaitivu and Trincomalee districts are expected to receive a rainfall exceeding 100 millimeters. Atula Karunanayake added that a rainfall of 50 to 75 millimeters is expected in the Sabaragamuwa and central provinces and in the Kalutara and Anuradhapura districts. The sea areas along the coastlines of Kankasanture to Hambantota via Mullaitivu, will experience showers or thunder showers. According to the meteorologist, the wind speed is expected to increase up to 40 to 50 kilometers per hour along the coastline from Kankasanture and Mana to Negombo. The adverse weather is expected to persist throughout the next few days. On 4th, 5th and 6th of this month, the rainfall is expected to rise. The Disaster Management Center said that 1,480 families The Disaster Management Center said that 1,480 families throughout the island have been affected as a result of the inclement weather. Deputy Director of Disaster Management Center, Pradeep Kodipilli, said the weather condition is expected to improve in 12 districts of the northwestern, northern, eastern and central provinces. The Deputy Director then moved on to the specifications of the situation report. A total of 5,415 members of 1,480 families have been victimized by the adverse weather. 5 deaths had been reported. 3 deaths had been reported from Valapani area along with 1 person missing. 4 persons have been reported to be injured. 619 members from 150 families have been placed in 8 secure places. The Deputy Director of Disaster Management Center mentioned that relief programs are being carried out. In the meantime, following the increasing water levels of the Attanagalu Oya, several byroads in the environs have flooded. Our correspondent said that the Bonagala, Tihariya, Kalavatuwava and Migodapola byroads are underwater. A line room has been destroyed following the fall of an earth mound in the Ampitikanda area at Ponagala in Haldumulla. 91 members of 28 families residing in the nearby line rooms have been evacuated and directed to alternate safe locations. The army and the villagers initiated action to control a leak in the bund of the Mardan Kulama tank in Tunukkai. This prevented a major disaster that was looming. Many cultivations on either side of the Girabe Dangamur Oya in Valimada were underwater following its overflow along with the heavy downpour. Residents claimed that the overflow of the Dangamur Oya had taken place after a long period. Several foreign ambassadors in Sri Lanka met Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa today. The meeting took place at Temple Trees. American Ambassador of Sri Lanka, Elena B. Teplitz, met Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. Japanese Ambassador Akira Sugiyama also met the Premier. Italian Ambassador of Sri Lanka, Rita Manella, was the other diplomat to call on the Prime Minister. Still on local news, the Sri Lankan government has drawn its firm attention with regard to the incident that a staff member of the Embassy of Switzerland has been forcibly detained and attempts had been made to get information. The government immediately ordered the conduct of a full investigation into the matter with the revelation that such an incident had taken place. Accordingly, the Criminal Investigations Department commenced a special investigation. The results of the inquiry were intimated to Swiss Ambassador Hans-Peter Mock. It was joined by Defence Secretary, retired Major General Kamal Gunaratne, and Foreign Secretary Ravinatha Aryasinghe. Officials, including the Criminal Investigations Department, pointed out that a statement should be obtained from the officers said to have faced this incident. The non-availability of an opportunity in this respect is an obstacle for the inquiries. The Defence Secretary and the Foreign Secretary has said that since this officer had stated that she was injured in the abduction, she should be directed for a medical examination. They called on the Swiss ambassador to support the Sri Lankan government to determine the real situation with regard to the incident said to have occurred. Meanwhile, a demonstration organized demanding that the Swiss embassy officer be produced before the police to record a statement was held near the Swiss embassy. The GCE ordinary level examination commenced at 4,987 centers today. The examination, which began today, will be held until the 12th of this month. The total number of candidates sitting the examination is 717,008. Of them, 433,050 are school candidates. This year, several special centres are operating. They are located at Ratmalana, Tangalla, Matara and Chilau areas, the Colombo Magazine Prison, the Apeksha Hospital in Maharagama, the Vaturaka Sunitha Vidyalaya and the Sri Lankan Embassy in Kathmandu, Nepal. 6 children are facing the examination at the Apeksha Hospital. The examination centre at Nepal is for children who are participating in the SARC Sports Festival. The examination centre at Kathmandu has been established for 6 athletes participating in the South Asian Games. 4 candidates appeared for the examination at this centre this morning. Assistant Prison Superintendent of the Wataraka Open Air Prison DMA Nimal Shanta said that 15 students of the Sunita Vidyalaya are sitting the examination. They are students sent from various prisons in the island. They faced the examination today with the blessings of the prison's officials and that of the principal and school staff members. He said that they expected good results from them. Minister Bandula Gunawardena met with the Inter-University Students' Federation today at the Higher Education Ministry. The student representatives informed the Minister of Higher Education about the issues the university students are facing. The minister assured swift solutions in the future. Ministry Secretary Aruna Disanayaka and convener of the Inter-University Students' Federation, Venerable Ratkarauwe Jinarathanathera, were also present at the discussion. Bandula Gunawardena said he will be catering to the duties he is entrusted with as the Minister of Higher Education, irrespective of political ideologies. As a cabinet minister, he requested the support of the student communities to implement the proposed policy statement. The Minister of Higher Education said that the discussions will serve as a threshold to create a better university system for the future generations. The Supreme Court today ordered to take up the case filed against parliamentarian Ranjan Ramanayaka with respect to a contempt of court on the 3rd of April. This order was given when the case was taken up before a 3-judge bench headed by Justice Cicero Diabru today. The case has been filed claiming that a statement made by Ranjan Ramanayaka during the telecast of a program in a private TV channel on a fundamental rights petition against the President on the dissolution of Parliament, which was being heard at the time in the Supreme Court, had insulted the judiciary. On that occasion, Ranjan Ramanayaka had stated that the ruling of 3 of the 5-judge bench would be given in favour of their party. Meanwhile, the foreign travel ban imposed on former Minister Basil Rajapaksa with respect to a land case in the Matara Eliakanda area has been temporarily lifted. The order was given by Matara Chief Magistrate Isuru Nettikumara. The magistrate issued this order following a motion presented by Basil Rajapaksa, the second defendant, saying that he wanted to travel abroad to receive medical treatment. The case will be taken up for hearing again on the 18th of March. The 8th Youth Film Festival was held at the National Film Corporation's Tarangani Hall. Many young directors were honoured. The 8th Youth Film Festival was organised by the Ministry of Education, Sports and Youth Affairs and the NISCO Video Division of the National Youth Services Council. 113 films were screened. These included 92 short films and 21 documentary films. 14 short films and 8 documentary films were selected for the final round. Among those present were film director Jayana Chandrasiri and veteran film critic Gamini Vairagama. Professor Vinny Vitarana, a prominent scholar of Sinhala language and literature, passed away. He was 91. Professor Vinny Vitarana was born on the 2nd of June 1928. He received his first degree from the University of London in 1956. Professor Vinny Vitarana is a postgraduate of the London and Peradeniya universities. He rendered invaluable service to the language as chief editor of the Sinhala Dictionary. He has authored a number of books. The remains will lie tomorrow at a funeral parlour in Borella. The funeral is scheduled to take place on Wednesday afternoon. And that's all the news tonight. Log in to itnnews.lk for more. I'm Malshani Gamage signing out. Good night.